Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Remember, we immigrants, we choose the countries where we eventually immigrate into because we thought that those countries were better than the countries we come from. So we voted with what we consider better. We voted with our feet. We walked to another country. So we left something that we consider worse and picked up something that we consider better than what we left. We voted, as I said, not by words, by the actions. Yeah. So actions speak louder than words. We have here an article from the Kiev Independent, and these guys are going to try to sell us some stupid idea, and I will reveal that as I'm going to read the article, and I'm going to use my introduction to show you how these guys are weasels. So, what am I talking about? Ukraine has a manpower shortage on the front. You are not allowed to say the obvious reason why, because they got killed by the Russians. Otherwise, you would have the same guys. If nobody was killed by the Russians, you would have the same number as you started with, right? Rotating or not rotating, you still have them over there. But you now have that the manpower slumps. That's the word, slumps. Now that's like that. Why? I don't think it slumps. I think it was like this. See? But overall goes down. Let me show you this little article. They're going to tell us probably why it slumped. This is from December 3rd, 2023. The Kiev Independent reports that Zelensky acknowledges need for greater war mobilization. So he needs more people as manpower slumps. All right. Are you thirsty, baby doll? Okay. President Zelensky on December 1st said changes to mobilization are necessary as he ordered a strategic turn focused on defense following a lackluster counter-offensive in Ukraine's southern regions. And I'm quoting, everything necessary for our state, our brigades, these specific results must be calculated precisely. This includes issues of mobilization, end quote. Well, if you did everything right before, then you can't claim you did something wrong. Now, don't tell me it was something bad before, because you said at that time that everything you did was right. You never made a mistake. So you can't come now and say, it was not done right. Who's responsible for that or to that? You. In November, the BBC reported official EU data revealing 650,000 Ukrainian men of fighting age had fled Ukraine and received residency in Europe. So you got 650,000 Ukrainian men of fighting age. They refused to fight for their country, for Zelensky, or for the Western interest. What do you think? Why do you? Or they were cowards. Are you going to say they were cowards? I wouldn't say because I don't know. But I think they refused to fight. That's a fact. So by going outside, as we immigrants did, we left something bad for something better. So they didn't want to fight. That's a fact. Now the reasons could be what? Maybe they were cowards, as I said, but I don't think anybody will say that unless they really want to shame them. Maybe they left because they didn't want to fight for the guy in charge of their nation, which is Zelensky, Zhmyhal, Yermak, and Reznikov at that time, all Ukrainians. Or maybe they don't want to fight for the Western interest. So maybe 650,000 Ukrainians were not idiots. Maybe there are some other reasons, like what? Opportunity to make a better life. Still, you didn't fight for your country. The reason must be that that's shitty and I'm going to have something better. Okay? But they will tell us that probably they left because why? Let's read further. The real figure is thought to be much higher because many refugees are not officially registered in the EU or may have fled to other popular destinations such as US or Canada. Still, they left, even if it's more. Let's put 1 million people of fighting age refuse to fight for you. That means Man, we better leave that shitty thing. We leave. That's garbage. What's going on? Then you want to fight maybe against Russia. That's another thing. And I'm quoting everyone. Oh, everyone. Don't start with everyone, always, everybody. These are idiotic terms because it's like everyone. Did you ask everyone? No. So don't say that. And this is Zelensky. Everyone in Ukraine understands that changes are needed in this area. Now that's a statement, that's a lie, because he has no way to know that everyone understands that. Anyway, understand, under martial law, male citizens between the age of 18 and 60 are generally prohibited from leaving the country. Exemptions exist for medical, education, and business reasons. And I'm quoting, these are comprehensive things that military leadership and military Ministry of Defense have to work out and present to the staff for approval. Mobilization is a highly controversial topic. They can falsified medical certificates can be purchased for $3,000. Zelensky in August dismissed all officials, he knew that all of them, in charge of regional military recruitment centers. So all of them. Again, how did you know that? I don't think he did that based on an investigation, did he? That tells me he's a tyrant. Because you can't just fire someone without coming and say, hey, Emil, here is the evidence. You did it. You. Not your office, because in the office there's many people. So he just said everyone fired because there was some corruption somewhere. But you can't fire because you don't know if all of them were involved in all this garbage. So that tells me he's a tyrant. Do you do that? Imagine tomorrow at work someone fucks up and the boss or the owner comes and fires all of you. The first question you will say, why me? It wasn't me, it was him. But you can't talk with anybody because you were kicked out already. This is what Zelensky, the great guy, did. Dismissed all officials from regional military recruitment centers. They didn't say some, that means all, amid a widespread corruption scandal. Widespread doesn't mean that all of them, okay? Vowing criminal investigations into profiteering schemes. You don't fire them and then investigate. You don't fire someone and then you say, well, let me find out what I find now. You have to find first, expose, you charge, that you have some reasonable doubt. You fire them if you have the evidence and you went through the process with investigation, allow him to defend himself. You don't just fire like that. Hey, you know what? I think you did it. I didn't. You're fired. But I said I didn't. Yeah, you're fired. We're going to find out later. We're going to start some investigation in 3 years from now. But both the quantity and the quality of fresh recruits have been lacking as the war drags on. Ukraine needs infantry in top physical shape. Yeah. Now this is important. Listen to this. And I suspect it's even worse. The average age of Ukrainian troops on the battlefield is 30 to 40. All right, listen to this. The average age of Ukrainian troops on the battlefield is 30 to 40. How do you find the average age in a group? You get each person age, right? Pop. You add it. You divide it by what? By the number. And you find the exact average. You don't find it between 30 and 40. You find the exact one. How come these guys give us between 30 and 40? Because maybe it's 39. And they said, why didn't they say between 20 and 60? The average. The average age of Ukrainian troops on the battlefield is between 20 and 60. Or let's make it clear, 18 and 60. My friends, this is garbage. Or about a decade older than usual recruits. My friends, these guys think that we are garbage. Now remember, why did they leave? Why did they refuse to fight for their country? And I expect that to be even more than that because my last numbers were about 6 million, if I remember correctly, in an article I covered, about 6 million. Because how can you have a shortage of men in Ukraine? I mean, Ukraine used to have, I covered that in 2000, a few articles. I made a video. They said that in 2020, I think there were 44 million Ukrainians in Ukraine. 44. Now it's an estimated 19 million. More than a half. More than a half are out. More than half are out. Now, let's say you had, before it started, I think it was like 39 million or 40 million when the war started. Now, this is the way you do it. Let's say out of that half, not even half, you have to take about 2/3 are adults. But from the 2/3, which would be out of 40, would be about 30 million. Let's say 30 million, let's say from 40 minutes, from an approximately from 40 million, let's say you get about 15 million. Let's say 15 million, that would be children, 15. Now 30 million would be adults. Now from 30 million adults, 30 million adults, we divide it into men, female, or male, female, right? So you get to 15 million. From 15 million, you get the population between 60 and 18, right? And how many you got from between 60 and 78? Maybe you got 10%. So you still have about 12 million people ready to fight. Able, if you have a general mobilization. 12 million, and I've been conservative, not liberal. Liberal, I will say they have about 14, 15 million available, potential. Now, if some people left, let's say the 5 million left, you still remain with about 6 million people. 7 million people fighting. Now, if you have a shortage of people who that means a lot of people died. How many died? 1 million? 2 million? 3 million? How many? 100,000? That's not enough. And they say not many people Ukrainian died. Remember? They said, well, maybe 12 Ukrainians or something. I'm just kidding. Even if they were 100,000, that's not enough for them to be so agitated. I think it's about 600,000. Then, if you put it in a context of how many potential recruits you have, then you start being concerned. Because you probably started, a number that I saw, but there was about 2 million at the beginning. 2 million, the Americans. The Russians had about what? 400,000 or something like that. So it was 2 million. And then they keep recruiting, people die, and now you're agitated after 2 years. How many could have died? 100,000 in 2 million? That's nothing. I mean, you know what I mean, nothing compared with 2 million, 100,000. In this context, it's 100,000, but and you can potentially bring more because that was a 2 million and you had at least 4 million ready to come, to be recruited. That's the minimum. And you cry that you don't have a slump? What do you mean? That tells me that more people died and more people left and refused to fight for these guys or against those guys. I think. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.